Welcome to Skip the Formalities. I am your host, John Jay. And today we're going to talk about some of the most trivial topics that get up under people's skin and get everybody talking. And it really just, this topic is really getting to me. It's really, really getting to me. But let me introduce our panel. We got Brianna, we got Brittany, and we got Mr. Yule. We are your panel for today. Now, let's get into it. Now, our topic today, we're talking about the abortion law that Texas decided to pass. Now, Texas always feel like they want to be the pivotal point of the world. They always got to do something. Between them and Florida, I don't know who the hell to trust, okay? But Texas have taken the cake. They have passed 666 laws in the course of, I want to say, a summer, okay? Over the course of the last damn year. I don't even understand how you can even have a session with 666 laws. Who wants to listen to all that debate and the conversation? It's crazy. But however the case is, we are talking about abortions. Now, they are saying that if you decide to aid some woman getting an abortion and she is under or at 6 weeks and the baby has a heartbeat, you will be sued or can be sued for $10,000. Now, I'm gonna be honest. If I was working in the abortion clinic and I seen a person come pulling me in, I want their license plate. I want their number. I'm suing for you know what I can do with $10,000? I can do a lot with $10,000. Now, I ain't saying that the law is correct, but when it comes to money, I want every part of it. I want every nickel and dime. You may not want to agree with me, but I want every dime. So the way I feel about it is they are restricting the rights for women and their bodies. Abortion together, well, pro-life has always been against woman's body instead of pro-choice. You should be able to decide as a woman what you want to do with your body. They ain't got no permission for when you want to change genders, but now all of a sudden we got to have permission whether we want to have a baby or not. Ain't nobody telling breeders, hey, you need to get permission before you decide that you want to breed. Ain't nobody saying none of that stuff. I mean, you want to breed pit bulls all day long, knowing that they manhandle kids and men and women and adults. But yet we just like, oh, well, nobody cares. We just gonna let it keep happening. So panel, I want to hear what you got to say. I gave my little opinion about it, my little snippet. So I want to see what y'all got to say. What we talking about abortion? Women, tell me how you feel. They are restricting the rights of women, and not to mention 6 other states rushed to get this same thing passed. If I'm an Uber driver, how do I know that you're going to an abortion clinic? You may want to pull up down the street, few houses down, but you're going to sue me because I dropped you off? That's crazy. And we know the people that passed it ain't nothing but men. I hate to say it, and I am a man, but what gives them the right to say, hey, I'm going to tell you what you're going to do with your body, and you don't have a say-so behind it? I don't see it as fair. I don't see it as fair. So panel, give me something.
I don't think that it's fair at all that anyone can tell anybody what to do. Like, okay, yes, abortion, some people that's pro-life, yes, it's wrong, it's immoral, the baby got a heartbeat, it's a life, life begins at heartbeat, life begins once the egg and the sperm meet. Like, it's different types of, what exactly is contraception or conception? I mean, what exactly is that? At what moment can you say, okay, yeah, since the baby got fingerprints or a thumb or, a heartbeat or whatever the fuck, like, oh, it has rights. The baby got rights. So it's certain instances where abortion, it should be, I think it's acceptable. So like in the cases of rape, incest, etc., like it should be an option. Like, some people don't want to live with that type of trauma. It might be traumatizing for them to have to go through that pregnancy throughout the whole 9 months and then have to, and have to have the baby. Like, so that could be something that's, a mental issue with that part. Yes, okay, it's other alternatives. You can go ahead and, give your child to social services. Your baby can be adopted. It could go to family members. It's different options. But if it's a harmful pregnancy and the baby just terminated itself, or other types of reasons why abortion would not be some people might not want to have a child. They can't prepare for a child. So okay, instead of thinking, oh damn, 18 years, I'm about to be out $200,000, I can afford a child, I'm irresponsible at this moment. I might as well just go ahead and abort, because it's only, I don't know how much, $600, $500 for me to abort it, instead of $2,000, $200,000 later in life. So, I mean, it's different reasons why people have and why they do it, but I don't think it should be any type of law and rule saying, hey, after 6 weeks, you just shit out of luck. But you can whole ass cross borders and go get it somewhere else. Would you rather somebody take a whole wire hanger to their coochie and risk killing themselves or doing some backyard street shit? Like, I don't think, it's appropriate for that. I don't think that they should say any rights or have any rights to it, to women's health. We don't sit here and tell y'all everybody needs to get a vasectomy, or you having too many kids, you gotta get off social services systems. Like, no, it's not appropriate. That's my 5 cents.
And you know what? I agree with you. It's hard to sit here in good conscience, knowing that there are women that, because they said in the article, they said, I was reading an article and they said that at 6 weeks, that's when a woman is finally finding out that she's even pregnant. You ain't detect. I don't believe that you detecting it any time earlier than that. So that 6 weeks or 8 weeks, you're finding out that you're pregnant. They're basically saying, well, there's nothing you can do. You're just finding out. Say you had a one night stand, and you were drunk, you had unprotected sex or whatever, or it was date rape or whatever, and you didn't realize it, or maybe you did realize it, and whatever like that, and then 8 weeks later you found out you're pregnant, but this wasn't your intention, this wasn't your plan, and now all of a sudden there's nothing you can do about it. So you got to run to a whole nother state, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, 8 hours away, just so you can have an abortion over something that you didn't plan. Now, granted, they may say, hey, why don't you go ahead and get on birth control? Get on birth control, or men, wear condoms, or how the case is like that. Like, there's a lot of different reasons behind that. But in the same token, it's like, are we putting responsibility on the woman, or are we putting a responsibility on the man? Because they're still selling Plan B pills. That's after the fact. That's like the next day. Plan B. You can use Plan B up to 72 hours. So that's Plan B. So a woman can take Plan B all day long and terminate regardless of the case. But you telling me 6 weeks later, you can't terminate at all. That right there is that the mindset behind it is crazy. It's crazy. It's a horrible mindset. And then it's not like they're criminalizing the person that is taking them to the abortion clinic. They're not criminal. They're not making them criminals. So you tell me that but you can sue them. So if it's their parents, their parents getting sued. If it's a good friend or a cousin, they getting sued. The Uber driver, the stranger, he don't know what's going on, but he getting sued. That makes no sense. And they put aid in a bed in there. It's aiding and abetting.
Oh, wow.
I'm aiding and abetting a young lady for a decision that she's making, and I'm getting in trouble for.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like that, I'm sorry, like that's ridiculous to me. That's ridiculous to me.
That's crazy.
For every guy that made the wrong decision with the wrong woman, you better
Shut
abort.
up,
You better abort. She was the wrong one. I didn't want it with you.
Shut up.
I'm just saying.
I think it's crazy to have a law for it. I mean, I'm against it. So I really don't believe in them. I don't believe in them, but to each his own, right? Because you, first of all, everybody, you do what's best for you. Now listen, I don't think it should be a law because, like you say, certain situations might happen. What if you rape, or you know what I mean, or you get pregnant by somebody, you might not feel like they responsible, or you know what I mean. It's all kind of reasons why. And so to have that rule, that law in place is like, that's sickening to me. Like, it really is. And then, like you say, most people don't find out till they about 6 or 8 weeks. You know what I mean? The norm. Okay. Now I don't know about these people on TLC talking about they didn't know they was pregnant till they went into labor, because that whole baby is moving and kicking. And I just can't believe you went 9 months and I know you was pregnant to your water, bro. Like, that's nuts to me. But they said it happens. I think that's crazy too, because that's like crazy. But I mean, now I think like a person that just like killing babies. I mean, like, you got people that just get them like they popping Skittles. Like, that should be some kind of, okay, like, yeah, man, you might need to do something else. Tie your tubes or something, have a hysterectomy. Like, that's just crazy. But
So my question here now is, do y'all feel like this is a move to increase population? Now, mind you, this is what you put in the head. Now, mind you, remember, we had the vaccination conversation, and I said that this was population control. Okay. Now we didn't. Now a vast majority, going by what referring to back what AJ said, over 600 million. I think it's 600,000. 600,000 people died. Over 1 million died worldwide. I believe that is what she stated, worldwide, that died from the virus. So we have those people that have died. Is this in these 6 additional states that's rushing to do this? Is this a form of population increase? Because what other reason would it be to restrict a woman from having a pro-choice on what she do with her body, whether she's being raped or whatever the case is? I mean, hell, the woman, the girl could be molested. And we're saying that she's 15, she was molested or raped, but she has to have the child. There is no exceptional circumstances to the rule. So now I'm looking at this as, okay, so if we're forcing people to have kids,
they're not counting rape and that type of stuff in the legislation?
Not that I read, no.
Wow.
That's the big thing here.
But ain't in China, I thought China got where they women, I thought you can only have one kid. Is that China or Japan? Where they only
lifted
want you to
that.
have one baby? Oh, they lifted it, they took it
Yeah,
away?
because they got
that was
so
a
many
control.
They got so many men now that, they ain't got no women, and now they population about to die out because, yeah, okay, you got one child limit and your first child got to be a male to carry on your legacy. Now what happened to all the women? Y'all just got basically men over there and ain't nobody to repopulate. So That's why they got an incentive to for people to have more children. I think they can have 3 now. And it'll be okay. And then I think they're giving them like a stipend for it too.
See,
but even in that sense, and I looked at a documentary on that, and I couldn't believe it. I thought it was the craziest thing that a government will restrict people from having their firstborn as a girl. Their firstborn had to be a boy. It got to the point where women were dropping these kids off in garbage cans, abandoning them because they didn't want them to know that their firstborn was a girl. It has been over in China. It has been a long-standing rule that your first had to be a male. And people have still lived under that same rule. They so overpopulated with men. Is women they don't even want to, the men just don't have, like, the documentary was so crazy when it was talking about the overpopulation of men and of the man that's over there. It's just a lot of men. A lot of men.
So they gonna be gay soon. So then you ain't gonna get no babies.
And then some of the women don't want to deal with them. Because it's so many of them. Like, what do you do in that sense?
Move.
That's just nature in reverse. If they wouldn't have been affecting it, then it wouldn't have been that situation. It would have been more women than men. But because you put that rule on it, you mess with nature, and this is the result.
And it's an extreme result. So now they're overpopulated with men. It's not enough women to pretty much go around. And if their generation is anything like the Western colonies, then they're not looking to get married no time soon or to even have kids. So then where does that leave your country, especially when you have a population when you have one of the highest populations in the world?
Mm-hmm.
You know, these restrictive rules on families and the burden of bearing kids. Why is it always, and ladies, I want to know how y'all really feel about this. Why is it left up to a man to determine what a woman does with her body? And in that same instance, why is it not the women in Congress speaking out against this? Or is it because it's not that many women in Congress to speak out against it or to vote it down? Because it always comes down to a vote, because it's a democracy.
It could be because the lack of representation, or how many different representatives you have in your state that's men, or more. Some people might be more liberal, some people might be more conservative. So it just depends on how your state is and how they want to pass like different types of legislation. I think because majority of our congressmen are like above the average age of Americans is 38, but our congressmen is like 50, 60, 70 on their deathbed, knocking on death's door. They old as fuck. Why the fuck is y'all still making laws for us? Y'all about to be out here in the next 20 years. I'm sorry, I just don't understand. I just don't get it. It kills me. But I think the reason like why they doing like the abortion is because a lot of I guess maybe it's a lot of white women. So they're going to be the minority. If you have an increasing population of Hispanics and Latinos and people and such like that, they're going to take over the Black people. So, and then after that, shortly after that, Mexico's so close, white people going to be the minority. I'm sorry. I think they're doing that so they can maintain being the majority. Because Black people, I don't know, maybe Black people can't afford abortions, or white people just the ones that keep going to the clinic. So that's just my personal thought.
And you're absolutely right. The statistic is by the year 2050, white people will be the minority. White people will be the minority.
Oh shit, we're gonna be in slavery again. Now listen.
I mean, it's a true fact. It's a true fact because Hispanics and Latinos, and I don't want to say Mexicans. I don't think it's Mexicans, but they are having the most kids. They are having the most kids, and their population is consistently growing, especially along the Southwest. It's consistently growing. I've seen a documentary on that, and they're calling it by 2050. White people will be the minority. They will no longer be the majority rule in America. The bad part about it is that America is a melting pot. So this is how I feel about it. this just came to me. If white people don't become the majority, then who's going to be the majority populace at that point in time? Because the majority is the one that supposedly have the power. So white people, currently the majority, are the majority of billionaires, millionaires. They have power, they have pull, they're in Congress. Who the next majority, whatever race that's going to be, are they going to have the power? Are they going to control Congress? Are they going to be the next millionaires and billionaires? What do you think about that?
I don't know.
Think about it.
I'm not sure how that
Will work.
Think about
that
it.
does. You got a lot of I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that develops. I think yes, it can, but looking at just the stuff we was talking about, the COVID, it could be, what's the plan? What's the plan now? I think they're thinking of that already.
Yeah.
I don't see them just sliding to the left and saying, hey, I'm giving up power. Good luck, guys. Follow your lead. I don't see that happening. I see these plans now affecting that type of stuff.
I see your point there. I see your point. And I really believe, and I do believe that this is some way to try to combat or counteract the growing populace of minorities. And then if you really look at it, not only is America a melting pot, and I hate to say it, like, well, we're breeding with other cultures and other races. So that further dilutes the actual culture or race that it is, and that's why a lot of white people want to just try to keep it within their race, or what they would essentially call a pure blood. They want to stay pure. They don't want any as what they would call tainted DNA in their cesspool of a life. It's just, I don't want to say it like that, but some of them are very toxic. I mean, not all of them, but some of them are very toxic. But they don't want that type of inbreeding. I mean, they don't want that type of breeding outside of their own, or how the case is, because then you start to get different. I want to say a different type of nationality that comes from that, because you're black and you're white, or you're black and you're Spanish or Hispanic and Mexican, or how the case is. I wonder, because this goes back to when we was talking about race on applications. When you go back and look at their race application, if you're not Indian, if you're not black, Pacific Islander, or nothing like that, and people try to identify as black because their parents is black, or because their parents are black, but they light skinned and they want to identify as black, or their parent is white and the one parent is white, other parent is black, and they want to identify as black. In certain situations, identify as white, and other situations depend on where they want to lean. Like, do they? And this is my thinking: do they become the majority at that point in time? Like, do the mixed breeds become the majority?
Then the others on the application.
They the others on the application. Do the mixed breeds, like, if you don't identify as black and you don't identify as white, Indian, Pacific Islander, Native, or nothing like that, and you are other, do other get their own little section of mixed breedness, and then they become like the majority populace? That's why I was leading with this. Because with everybody mixing, Everybody mixed. If you just think about generations of mixing, at some point in time, there's going to be a dominant trait that becomes more dominant. You know, even if you mix black and Chinese, somewhere down the line, it's either gonna come out more black or it's gonna come out more Chinese, depending on how the mixed breed go down through the generations. So if that is the case, I'm trying to get the understanding that is other black and Chinese, black Japanese, because they don't have that listed on there outside of other, because the melting pot is too big. It's too big. So say you had black and white mix. Now we know that happened like years ago. So black and white mix. Then you get black and Pacific Islander. You get Pacific Islander and white. Then you get that mixed child with Chinese. Then that mixed child with Sweden or some shit like that. Where does the classification and identification end up again? Because it's not just going to be black, white, Native, Indian, Pacific Islander. It's not going to be any of that too much longer. Now we already know black pretty much has a dominant trait. Go ahead, Brianna.
No, I was saying they probably gonna end up taking that off. Like you said on the application, they're gonna probably take that off, just like with that gender, because now it'd be like if you male or female, but if you transgender, you didn't change your sex now, checking. I believe all that's gonna fade off eventually. Like all that's not gonna be on there. They're gonna take all that stuff, and we just gonna be out here not knowing. We just running around as some unknown creature. Like it's crazy. Like I don't know. It's just if we're around to 2050, first of all, I hope we'll be
around. Shoot, I'm only in my 30s, baby.
I mean, but I'm just saying the way the world is going. If we, you know what I mean?
That ain't number 30 more years. I'll be in my 60s.
To be around to see where we gonna be at, where we going, what it's gonna be like in 30 more years, right? Well, you got all this stuff, like you say, we gonna be here. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Our race for us, it's like shit. We taking on our own race. The more the faster we can generate and put out or make kids, have babies, shit, the faster they kill us. Like so we'll never be probably in control of shit. We not gonna do it unless we get smart. They just get off this dumb shit because we taking our own out faster than anything. Then we can make them and have them, and you know what I mean. So our population is just gonna vary. It's just gonna be what it is because every time a kid born, or whatever, baby born, say somebody died. Shit out here, it's 3, 4, 5 motherfuckers a night. You know what I mean? From what the news say, you know what I mean? Like, shit, it's I don't know. Like, I don't know what's gonna go on. It's all crazy to me. And like you say, Congress, I think it's time to switch out. We got to get us in there. I mean, younger, because like you say, these people 40, 60, so they still living or thinking like they was in the 70s or 80s, all that old shit, and they making rules for us, and they finna die and go on the ground. And you got all these rules, and then we probably don't got enough women on Congress. I don't think we got enough women. And then the women we got, they scared to speak up because if they gonna lose their motherfucking job or be, you know what I mean, or whatever, they scared to speak up for us. So then that doesn't help us because ain't no way that law should have passed. At all. No way. No motherfucking way. That law should even when they came to the table with it, that shit should have been ripped up and thrown in the trash. Like, there's no way. So that's what this, this come with, the change, and we need to start doing something and paying attention because we focus on bullshit and we getting distracted. Like you said, COVID then distracted us for a whole year and a half, and then next thing you know, here come all this shit from up under us. Here go these laws. Here go, we putting all this in place. This coming. Well, where the fuck all this been? They've been doing it, but they got us. We all focused on COVID and dying and trying to get shots. That we forgot about the rest of the world, reality, what's going on. So now they pulling shit from up under us. and gonna have it where they gonna fuck around it. Yeah, we gonna be in control. I mean, they're gonna control it somehow, some way. Biden did a whole thing. I was getting my hair done Thursday. He came on there and basically, nigga, it's a force now. You about to get this shot so we can get the fuck up out of this pandemic. Or if you don't, if your job got over 100 people, they want you to get a shot or get tested every week. And then if you don't, then like you say, you got like the airport and all that trying to penalize them and make them pay if they don't get the shot, or no, fuck with their health care or something if they don't get the shot. So now, and I'm like that's bold. Like that was crazy to me to hear him say that. Like, ain't really no way around it. Like, y'all gonna get this shot and we about to get this shit under control so we can, get rid of it. Eventually it go away, but y'all got to get y'all shot. Like they saying, they putting that shit on the passports. They got passports. If you got them fake cards, they cracking down on that. You know what I mean? On your license, they want to see you got vaccine and all that. Like that. That's that force. So there goes the rights. Now them the rights, because now you taking our shit away. Now you telling me I gotta do this, or you could be fined, or your job gonna make you do this. So now it's either you gonna do it or you gonna quit your job. It's like it's just too much, and we not paying attention. Especially our younger generation, you know what I mean? They not paying attention. Then it's us in the middle, like you trying to do something, but if you ain't got enough people to stand behind you, ain't shit gonna change. And it's just gonna be, we just, you know what I mean? We just dealing with shit. And that's just how it is. We dealing with shit. And that's crazy. And like you say, like the mix and all that, we probably all mixed. I believe we all mixed. Like you say, back then, them white men was fucking our grandmamas in slavery and all that, and we all mixed. So the bloodline been mixing years ago. And for what it is, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's time for the world to wake up. Us, especially us, our Black people, we got to wake up and we got to pay attention and get the fuck and get and you know what I mean? The change is for real, because if not, we gonna fuck around and wake up and be in slavery. For real. Like, they gonna put us back little by little, all this shit, throwing all these laws down, doing all this shit, making you do this. And then next, it's gonna be out of our control. Then we ain't gonna be able to do shit. Just, hey, live like they want you.
Well, there's a few things in there that you said that I definitely agree with. I do believe that COVID has been a distraction, as we had said before in our previous podcast, talking about the vaccination, that, I had said that every time that there is a moment of calming, there's always a new variant or a new fear that comes out to distract you from what's really going on. And it's consistently happening over and over and over again. And then we get wind of, 666 laws just got passed. Now we got, you got to get the vaccine. There's no way around it. If you're working, you have to get the vaccine. But it's not about to stop us from wearing masks. That's the underlying issue right there. It's not going to stop us from wearing masks. It's not going to protect us in any kind of way. It's already been stated that we definitely have been blinded by the realms of COVID, and a matter that these laws have been passed. Let's even look at it like this. Who are even putting these people in office? Let's look at it like that. Who's voting at the city and state level that puts these people in office to make these laws? Now, can we say, this goes back to our other podcast, can we say that Black people are actually going out there at the city and state level, putting the right people in office in order to make the appropriate decisions for the city and the state? That's a hard pill to swallow right there. It's a hard pill to swallow, because essentially the community put these people in office and they passed these laws. They wanted Republicans in office. They put the Republicans in office and they made these laws. is this what the people ask for? They supposed to listen to us. Is this what they asked for? Because I don't believe that a whole community, maybe partially a little bit of the community, but I don't think the whole community came in and was like, you know what? We want to restrict women's rights. You know what? My daughter got pregnant. She went and had an abortion. I didn't appreciate it. You know, she should have kept the baby. I don't think people sitting there going to talk to them about that. I really don't. Who's having those conversations with these Republicans in Texas saying, hey, I don't like the fact that women is getting abortions at 6 weeks. I think we need to change these laws. I think we need to put more rules and restrictions on these women's bodies. Like, who's going out there and coming up with these ideas? Like, seriously. Because if I get the wrong one pregnant, shit, I wanted to go ahead and get the goddamn abortion. Shit, that bitch, don't come over here. Get it.
But my thing is, y'all gonna complain about people being on assistance and stuff for these kids, and you know, or like, even if you think about it, like people in foster homes, or you know, can't even find someone to adopt them and things of that sort. Like, it's different types of I don't want to say loopholes, but it's a snowball effect, you know. Like, okay, I had a baby, then the baby is, you know, I can't keep the baby, so the baby's going somewhere else, and then the kid might have all types of issues. I don't know, it's different stuff. I don't want to say, I don't want to think the worst, but I'm just saying, like, it's like people just I don't know. Let me just stop. Let me be good. I'm gonna keep my thoughts to myself.
No, this is where you express those thoughts, Brittany.
No, because it's like, okay, yeah, you know, like certain stuff that you see on Law and Order or whatever, different TV shows, Lifetime and shit. Damn, my mama didn't keep me, so now I'm just so bitter and I'm hurt and I'm a menace to society or something. That's an extreme. Or I'm a help to society. So it's different aspects and different avenues that it can go down. And then it's like, damn, you should have shmorted it. so it's I don't know. So that's just my 2 cents again. I'm gonna go back to working.
Now, one thing I will say, like I said, I'm against it, but everybody do what they want. I don't like what is it? Is it after 12 weeks where it turned into the 2-day procedure, the abortion? Mm-hmm. Is it after 12? I believe. Now that, I think that should be ended. Like, I think that you can take that away. That one, like when they get to a certain amount of weeks, then by that, you should be having that baby. Because I just think that if you ever watch the video, or you just, you know, a 2-day abortion is basically, you know, they give you the medicine, put the baby to sleep, and then put you through labor. You go in labor, and you got to push out this dead baby. That's a baby that you know, in a couple of months or whatever would have been here. Like, you can get this 2-day procedure, I think, all the way up to you 6 months. That's a whole fucking baby. Like that right there. Like, they need to take that away. Like, I just think, now that's just me. I think is crucial. That is like killing. That's damn near murder. I mean, it's one thing you do it when they still a fetus. Okay, so the fetus at 6-8 weeks, they're a fetus. Yeah, I think they get a heartbeat around 8 weeks or something like that. They get a heartbeat around 8 weeks, but they still a fetus. Now, once that fetus go into the what you call them, and the baby, like, you talking 4 or 5 months, now you coming in here and you want an abortion, and they cost more, so that goes up, that gets in the thousands, because now that's a 2-day procedure, because it's a little more. Like, that's murder to me. Like, that, now that something need to be done about that. Like, that's crazy. You could have had that baby in about another, you know, 8 or 9 more weeks or whatever, and you didn't, you know, just killed this and still got to push, you know, and that, like, that's traumatizing to me. I don't even know who allowed that in the first place. Because I feel like if you was gonna get it, you got it in the beginning and got it over with, and going about your life. Not 5-6 months, and then you decide you want to terminate that life. That's murder to me. And I think that's crazy. Like, whoever even came up with that concept to even let you go that far, you know what I mean? To let you get all the way up to there and let y'all do that. So I'm trying to think, what the fuck do y'all do with them full babies? I mean, I know they dead, but what you do with that full baby? Like,
You know
don't
what
know
they
what
do.
the
They use
science
it for
or put
stem
in the
cell
garbage.
research.
You know what they do with that baby.
Stem cell research. That's why Planned Parenthood got in trouble because they had a lot of babies. That's why they lost their funding, because they were saying like they had a lot of babies in tubes and all types of different things. And like, some people, they keep the placenta, some people keep the umbilical cord, and it might be useful for later research, or it might be helpful for if different kind of diseases. So I guess maybe they was thinking is like, oh yeah, manufacturing shit over here and we can't fucking regulate it. So I don't know. That's why they lost their funding, and some of their programs like birth control and stuff and different services for women. It's a fee for it, when it used to be no cost.
That's that. I don't have the words. I know about stem cell research, but I just don't have the words behind. Let's just a little bit off topic. I mean, when you think about stem cell research, it's basically using another life, an uncreated life at that, to either better or further somebody else's life. I mean, that's essentially what stem cell research is, is trying to crack the code of genetics and extension of life, and it's unauthorized. It's unauthorized, regardless of how they consider life is unauthorized. And you may sign on the documentation that may say, hey, we can use this placenta or umbilical cord for further use in research, and not even know it. I've seen the horror stories of women that have went and got abortions, and pieces of the baby is stuck up in them. Some can't have any kids because of scarring that occurred during the abortion. There is a lot of traumatizing stories that have occurred to women that have went and gotten abortions. Now, regardless of whether it was their choice or not, there should be a safer procedure. If this is going to happen, a safer procedure in order to conduct abortions safely, to conduct them safely. At one point during, I don't know the weeks or anything, but I know at one point in time they use a tube to suck the baby out. A little bit later on in the process, they cut open the sac that the baby is in, and they use tools to scrape pieces of the baby out from your inside. Like, they have a whole video on YouTube about this, and one people I know shared the video with me, and they showed me the process that they go through, and it's traumatizing. I've seen a whole movie on abortion. It's very traumatizing. I can't. All jokes aside, a lot of stuff I was joking about earlier, and it's really not a joking matter. It's not a joking matter. A lot of women put their lives at risk going to get abortions. A lot of women put their lives at risk going to get abortions. And at the end of the day, whether it's their choice to go get it or not, they should still have the choice to go and get it. If they decide to get a baby up at the end of term, or if they decide to get a baby up to an adoption agency because they feel like they're not in a financial position to take care of the child, or they had a child in secret, or however the case is, and they decided to get rid of it. Let that be their choice. Let that be their choice. Don't let the government shouldn't regulate people's choices on their own body. As I said before, you can go ahead and change genders. You can go ahead and get Botox. You can go ahead and do all this, requires money, and change and alter your body however you want. But you're telling a woman that either has been assaulted, has been raped, or anything, that she can't get an abortion because she had a traumatic experience, which was in turn going to create this life. I don't think that it's fair for the government to make that assessment, nor to put those restrictions on women or anybody. That's like them coming in and saying, hey, if you're under the age of 30 or under the age of 25 and you're a male, you need to start taking birth control pills, and it no longer becomes a choice whether a man can have a child or not at a particular age when they are ready on their time. It no longer becomes a decision. It no longer becomes a choice. It no longer becomes planned. At that point, it becomes, hey, we're telling you what you can and can't do. And man, birth control is coming sooner or later. Like, it's pill form. They say it's gonna be pill form, and basically it's just gonna keep your swimmer's sperm from even swimming. Like, they just gonna be unmatured little things roaming around or whatever like that. So
you know what that's called?
Because you can always reverse that when you decide to have kids. So you can go get snipped, and then when you're ready to have kids, reverse it.
Well, you can't reverse a snip. I
Yes,
talked to my
you can reverse it.
I talked to my doctor. He said it's not reversible.
Oh, well, I always thought they said you could.
I talked to my doctor. He said once you do it, it's not reversible.
They said it's reversible, but I don't know. It might cause like scarring, or it might cause different type of infertility type issues with getting a vasectomy. But women's are always permanent. So when we get our tubes tied a little bit difficult too. They said they can come untied. I guess it just depends on the person and their body and how it works.
Now, I know people that got their tubes tied, and after for a couple of years or whatever, they do unravel and they untie. And then that's when they came out with the second method, the clip and burn them. Then they ain't coming loose. And now, then you can get a hysterectomy or partially, where they just take out, remove half of it. Now you ain't having no kids at all. Like, that's crazy. I know a couple of years ago, they used to tell, like my friend wanted one, and they told her she was under 25, or she only had one kid. So they denied it, basically saying like, you need to have another kid. You gotta have another kid, or or get over this age limit or something. So now you controlling and telling me you ain't gonna tie my tubes because I only got one kid, and then I'm under a certain age. So basically get over this age limit and have you another one, then we'll tie your tubes. Like, now how you gonna control that?
And you're absolutely right. I've heard stories about women that have one kid or no kids, and under certain circumstances they'll do a hysterectomy. But if you don't have two kids, they're not doing a hysterectomy, or and they may not tie your tubes because because again, as I stated before, regardless if it's population, it's really just population control. We want more, but if we have too many, then we know what we need to do to get rid of what we need to do. What we need to do to get rid of the extra. That's just how I look at it. I just feel like this whole thing is some form of population control that we're just gonna keep our thumb on it. We're just gonna keep our hands on it.
And then another thing too, like even if as a woman, you want to go in and have a hysterectomy or have your tubes tied, they be like, well, have you talked to your husband? You need to get your husband's consent too. So I'm
If
like,
you would.
damn, oh, shit. Why he gotta be involved in my affairs? What if I don't want to have any more kids? You know,
But y'all
I'm like,
married,
it's
so they
messed up.
consider y'all as a whole. Yeah, they consider, and that's crazy. Because so if he say
You his
no, and
property.
you yes, then y'all just in the middle because they ain't gonna do it. Like that's some bullshit. Like,
You are my property.
that
Talking
is
about
crazy to me. That's another control.
you my property.
Yeah,
What you talking about?
you better
You my
shut your
property.
mouth.
I
Listen.
tell you what to do. Okay.
So it's
When
just
I
crazy.
snap,
So
you
who are we
jump.
populating? We populating for us, the minority, the straight crew, or they want to control so we can populate and build up the LGBT community. What is we doing? What's this law? Who this law for? Because as it seems, we about to go extinct like dinosaurs because everybody gonna be wish-washy or they gonna change their sex over. So now these new kids, you know what I mean?
Well,
you know, they already gay at a young age, don't even know what gay is, 5 years old. You dress your girl like a boy, your boy like a girl. Who we having the babies? Who we populate? We about to build up the LBG community?
Well.
Damn.
Once they get done, once the alphabet community get done adopting all the kids out of the orphanage. I don't even know they call it that anymore. But once they finish adopting them out of there, then I mean it ain't gonna be no population left, I guess. I guess you'll have to start having kids underground. Go ahead to have kids underground. But y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what we're about to do. It's that time already. It's time for the final word. I said a lot of words during this podcast.
Me too, shit.
I'd have a lot to say. Well, this topic got me like, ugh. So
you was a little quiet today.
This was a different type of topic. I was since I wanted to hear what y'all said. Well, let me just do the final word for me then, John.
All right. Well, you'll take it away.
I looked at just listen to you guys talking. I would say I was leaning more towards pro-life, but after listening to you guys talk, I think there are exceptions to the rule. The Texas legislation, not really surprised. It's Texas. That's a Republican state. They're in majority there, so this falls in line with their core principles. They're into this type of stuff, so I'm not surprised about that. The 666, I'm a little shocked by that, but after COVID, I'm pretty nuts. It's going to be pretty hard to shock me, but to actually make 666 rules, that's creepy at best. You know,
that's the devil already.
Yeah. So as far as the abortion thing, I do believe women should have a choice in what happens with their body. But I think the problem is where is the balance? Like, okay, is a woman who keep having children irresponsibly allowed to continue to keep doing that, which burdens the system, which we have to pay for? Or is it more, hey, this woman is responsible, this happened, certain circumstances like rape, incest, things out of the norm that would normally be, no, we're not going to make them have that baby. Now you are making them have the baby. So you can see where the argument comes, because yes, I do believe women should have their own choice. But also on the back end, there should be some thought as to, what about the ones that are irresponsible? How does that play out into the abortion deal? Okay, let's say you have a kid and it's bad circumstances. Okay, you have an abortion. What about when you start talking about 4, 5, 6, 7 or more? These are things to consider in the system, because most of the time the government is paying for this, so you can see the argument for both sides. I see that, yes, there should be a choice, but shouldn't there be some responsible action involved in that too? So I'm kind of in the middle. I do believe, like Brianna said, once the baby gets to a certain point, it shouldn't even be an argument about if you're pushing out a fetus, a full grown baby. That's a little hard for me to stomach. I'm with you on that, Brianna. But at the same time, I do believe in the early stages, that may be what's best for all parties involved. So I'm agreement with John and Brittany on that part, in the sense of that's where you should have a choice. I do believe you should have a choice in that, because there are going to be circumstances that are beyond your control where that should be like I said, rape, incest, assault, unwilling sexual acts, all of that, statutory rape. You have to consider all of those. And if they're not being considered, then that's not being fair at all to the woman. And like she said, there's no legislation there in politics to kind of push the law. And if you maybe that is,
Hey, yo, you breaking up.
change. That's it.
Is it?
Okay, what was the last thing you heard?
It was hard to tell. The last thing I heard was that's it. I don't think I heard anything.
Okay, no. And then he started breaking up at the end, but I got him. I got him.
Okay. Basically, in a nutshell, I was just saying that I believe there has to be some type of balance. There has to be some type of balance in that, because a lot of the decisions are affecting a lot of people. And I think more care and concern should be placed into having a full round table so that you can kind of flesh it out in the middle, versus it being so one-sided. When you remove all options for the woman, automatically you don't have a high moral ground, because this is affecting the woman and you're making these decisions that's life changing. They're life changing.
Right.
So if you, I believe if they actually were fair and brought both sides together, they would easily be able to hammer out a compromise between the two. But that's not the point, and just like you said, with abortion, that's a real hot button topic. You're going to have some people who are just fanatical, where they're going to say, no, we're not giving up any ground. And then this side say, no, you're not giving up any ground. But that's not how reality is. You're going to have to meet somewhere in the middle and be able to work together to make the program work, or it'll just always stay fragmented. So I believe if they could, both sides could come to the table, and the women will have true representation and true input in the decision making, half of these decisions will not get off the ground.
Okay. I feel it. I feel it. I'm gonna wait till my final word. Brianna, you got to skip the formalities t-shirt on. T-shirt in my okay. So I don't really want to know. I hope you got some pants on, girl. I don't really know.
I was just about to say, who got to start singing that song? I mean,
go ahead with your final word, girl.
Baby, listen. I mean, I basically said it, but the law is stupid. Okay. I don't think it should be a law, like you say, just because of what could happen. The rape, molest, all that. You need a choice, right? Everybody should have a choice. That's a part of our, having your freedom. And, I think it shouldn't be no law on that. No. Like I said, I'm against abortion, but it's always a compromise depending on what the situation was. So I even got a flex too. Now I'm against it, like just going to get them, like you popping Skittles. No, I ain't for that. But if I got raped or I was molested or something like that, then I'm flexible to Okay, well, yeah, I gotta do what's best because I ain't about to keep no rapist baby, or do that in that sense. Like, some people might, and that's all of them because they feel like that's still their kid, and do it. And like you say, on TV shows, they have shows that on Law and Order, like she kept her baby because even she was raped, that baby grew in her, and that was her connection as a woman. And I get that as a woman who's lost a kid, you know what I mean. That for us, it's a.
You
I mean, it's a different kind of feeling. Yeah, daddy, you might be here, and you go through the pregnancy with your wife or your woman, but us, the one that carry the baby, who feel the kicks, who go through the morning sickness, who we develop, feelings in that relation. Even though the baby not born, it's still a relationship. It's my baby. So you know what I mean. So I get it. I lost a whole baby. So you know what I mean. Nothing more traumatizing than holding your kid and watching them die. You can't do nothing about it. You can't help it. That's always in my brain. And now, I've been blessed to have another baby and get through it. But I just like, some stuff, I get it. No, it shouldn't be no law. This is my body. And some people, you know what I mean? Like, you can't restrict it. Like, you can't, because anything could happen. And then what? You know what I mean? It's just crazy to me. And that's when I'm just saying, like, we people don't think about that. You making all these decisions, you not the woman, you not her body, you don't go through all that. Just like you say, you got to get permission from your husband, and he might be an asshole or be saying no, and he don't want you to do it or get your tubes tied. But you know what I mean. Persistent, you got to think about us. Y'all not putting us first. We not first. It's like, all right, well, you laid down, you had that baby, had it, and then it's just that, like, boom, like, you know what I mean, or. Well, what if they're not stable? They're not financially, like you say. They keep having all these kids, but they on the system. Now, where that line goes and draws at? Because at that point, she ain't taking care of them. We, the taxpayer, or whatever, paying for them babies. You know what I mean? I just think that's crazy. I mean, like you say, Texas is the Republican state, and I'm not surprised. Even when they did them gun laws, that is the most craziest shit to me. So anything Texas about to do, it ain't no shocker. It's just, it is crazy. But I do think, like I say, you never had an abortion or you never been with a woman and went through it or go through it. I think it should be a cutoff. Like you say, in them first weeks, if you get raped or molesting or whatever, like you say, you usually finding out 6 or 8 weeks. Okay, within that time, up to, I think, I don't know, it's 12 or 14. Whenever that embryo or that thing turn, when they go into the baby mode, like after them weeks, like you say, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, that's murder. That's damn near pure. That's pure fucking murder to me. Like, now it need to be a cutoff. You're gonna get it, they're gonna get it. But you got to XY these weeks, because after that you could have that baby and you can leave it in the hospital. They tell you that all the time. If you don't want it, you can leave. You can walk out the hospital and leave that baby, drop him off at the fire station. But if you didn't have him in the hospital, just leave him in the hospital. Somebody will get him. He will go, to the system, or family member. Somebody will come and get him. I just think that 2-day procedure need to come off. That's a little too extent. Like I say, you take the medicine, put the baby to sleep, and then you come back and they put you in damn near you in labor. They got to induce you because you got to push that baby out, and then you got to get all the stuff and the placenta and everything, because that was a full baby. That baby ready to be born. That baby got everything, all his organs, everything. It's baby.
okay?
And some people are not going to agree, and then some people are, and it's just like you say, each to his own. Everybody just you do what's best. You do what's best. And then, women, what if a woman did get raped or something and she had an abortion? Then, like you say, then there's women that can't have babies and they can't conceive. And down the long run, it didn't mess them up. It needs to be a safer way. We need to figure out how to do it. How to do it where it's not that extent. Like you say, in the beginning of the week, that's when you get sucked down the tube because you're real little. So if it balls up and they they put the tube and sucking down the tube and put it in them tanks or whatever. But after that one, them full babies, you pushing out after them certain weeks, that's that 2-day procedure, them full babies. But it needs to be found a different way. Scientists or something need to find a safer way, because then you got women that end up getting, like you say, end up getting punished or they get hurt in that procedure. And then when they're ready to have kids, they can't. They're going through all this infertility and, all that stuff to, get pregnant. And so it's not really safe. It's not. So it needs to be a better way and a safer way, but not restrict nobody on whether or not they can get an abortion or have a baby or not, or force them or not. You know what I mean? You got people with mental issues and disorders. So her mindset ain't, you know what I mean, stable enough. It's not being selfish. You know what I mean? No, I'm not saying that my husband shouldn't have no say so or not do that. It's not being selfish. It's just, sometimes you got to think bigger than that. We the women, we go through all of this. You on the outside, you getting me through it, but you ain't feeling all that. So from having an abortion to losing babies, that's a different, that's a different thing. Nobody can tell you how you supposed to feel, what you can do. Even to this day, nobody can tell me how I'm supposed to feel or grieve about me losing my baby, or you know what I mean? You can't do that. I feel how I feel. And I'm always feel like that because that's just your mother, your intuition. You know what I mean? That baby grew inside of me. And so, it's just different stuff. And you can't regulate life or nobody. You better stop. I'm gonna stop because it's about to start pissing me off. But you know what I mean? Just a little bit. I opened up about my life, but you know what I mean? It is I don't see it. Like, that law is stupid. It's stupid. And then, like I said, if it was enough women in Congress or some real women that wasn't scared to speak up for the men, put them assholes in their place. That law should have never fucking passed. As just being a woman, whether if you done been through it, if you done had an abortion, if you done lost a baby, having miscarriage, you already know the feelings or whatever. Why would you take that away from any woman? Is beyond me. But that's my final word.
All right. Brianna has dropped the mic. God damn.
Yes, she did.
Oh shit. I don't know whether I got chills or what, but man, that was a mouthful she did. I think she was talking for both parties, her and the baby. All right, Brittany.
Hey, yes. So again, like, I was pro-life, same as you, but to a certain extent as well. Like, in the case of rape, incest, and if it's going to harm the mother, like, some people have to terminate their pregnancies because it is an unhealthy pregnancy and like the baby is going to kill the mother. So I don't think that you should sacrifice 2 lives at that aspect. Like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, little baby, you gotta go. And it probably wasn't meant to be. You'll be in heaven. You'll probably come back down at another time, depending on how souls and all that other stuff is created. Like how we said that too, like, how you recreate a new person. But like, I don't think that people should be able to dictate different rules like that for women's health. Because if you think about it, it's a lot of different negative things that will happen to it. Okay, so y'all said we can't have abortion. So now people gonna have to be doing backyard abortions, basement abortions. People gonna be falling downstairs, taking all types of different stuff to try and terminate it, or even, having the baby and throwing it in the dumpster. it's different things of that I see can happen that's negative for this and people not even getting prenatal care or going across borders, going someone might go somewhere illegal to get it done. Like it's just so many negative things that can happen with it, and it shouldn't even be done. Like how you an old ass white ass man about to tell me, oh yeah, nah, you can't be aborting this baby. Whoever take you here about to go to jail. We about to take away your health insurance. Health insurance not even gonna pay for your birth control. We not paying for none of these types of procedures. Everything gonna be out of pocket. It's like, damn, what's the purpose of even having health insurance at some point, and y'all not gonna cover shit? Like it doesn't make sense. Like women's health, we are women are the future. Like we reproduce everything. We carry babies. I never had a baby. I never been pregnant or anything like that. But we carry a life for 9 months, and we have to go through a lot. Our body goes through a whole bunch of hormonal changes. We lose women lose teeth during pregnancy. Like men don't have to go through nothing. Y'all here emotionally, but some men not even here physically. So even if you think about it, like women have to be nurturing for the whole pregnancy, the whole birth, the whole child. No, not saying like there's no such thing as men fathers, like that's single fathers and stuff like that. But sometimes like men can be absent and just like not even assist with anything. So it's like, damn, I got a whole child and I'm sitting here doing it by myself. And it's like, it's different reasons like why some people can't have an abortion. But my whole opinion, and I don't know why Congress thinks like it's something that they have a say over. I don't think that it's right. All in all, they shouldn't say anything about a woman's wellness and health and anything. They shouldn't have any say in it. And it's always a choice. But to each his own. I thought like abortion was just murder, and my whole religious output of it is like, damn, if I kill a child, like, damn, am I gonna go to hell or heaven? So it'd be like on my conscience. So that's why I was always pro-life. But if it's for certain reasons, then that's how it is. Everybody got their own reasons for doing what they want to do.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. It's my turn. Wow. Y'all said a lot. Yul and Brittany, y'all surprised me with the pro-life. Y'all surprised me with the pro-life. I respect it though. I respect it. And the reason why I respect it is because I do believe that everybody should have a right to a life. Even those that are on death row. I mean, let them live out their sentence and down their own accord. We ain't really got to murder them. I don't think that's gonna do anything. But whatever. All right, that wasn't part of my final word. So, how I feel about this shit that Texas fucking put into place. All right, I normally don't cuss. Normally I don't cuss. All right, I believe that this is some grand bullshit. All right. I believe that telling somebody what they can and can't do with themselves is ridiculous. Okay. Think about it like this. We have all been raised by our parents, and they tell us what we can and what we can't do. And they always say, well, it's for your own benefit. But they don't even at least let us try or go venture out or have a case is like that. But those that get to live freely and free range, get to experience life, get to make their mistakes, and get to learn from them failures. Now, I'm not saying that this is an appropriate recourse for saying, hey, go out there, have sex unprotected, learn your lesson, and then, go get an abortion. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that there are those parents that shelter their kids and give them all the restrictions, and then they go out and then they do crazy shit because they never experienced life, and they don't know they don't know the reason behind the consequences. Okay. This is one of those scenarios. There are consequences to life. There are consequences to life. And in those consequences, we should be able to make decisions in order to revert those consequences. So be it. Okay. If I go and swing on a person, is their choice to try to fight back? Now, if I go swing on them and say, I apologize. I thought you was somebody else. It's mistaken identity. That's more than we actually get from the police people, from the police when they have mistaken identity. So I'm really leaning. I'm leaning towards pro-choice. I understand pro-life. I used to be a pro-lifer, and hey, had a kid. You know, if you don't want it, give it up for adoption. If give it to, you know, sell it on to some people for, you know, $10,000, whatever the case is. However you want to get rid of it, you know, hey, do what you got to do. But at the same time, I believe that everybody needs to have a choice on what they want to do with their life. Everybody should have a choice about what direction they want to take their life. If they decide they want to have the child, they decide they don't want to have the child, let that be their decision. The fact that it took 666 laws to be passed lets you know that, you know, for those that are religious, how the case is, you know, it's nothing but a devil's game at that point in time. You know, it could have been 665, it could have been 667. It just had to be 666. That just lets you know that, you know, Texas just happens to be the epicenter of, you know, the Christianity, you know, religious thing that they put out there, whatever the case is, all jokes aside. But just looking at the whole passing of it, again, if we look at the bottom layer, it's not the law that we really had, that is not, the law is not the only thing that we really have an issue with. It's the people that we put in there to make the decisions for us. It's the people that not go out there and vote to put these people in there. Texas doesn't have to be a Republican state. It could be a Democratic state. It could be a Democratic state if those people that wanted to vote Democrat were able to go out there and vote. Unfortunately, the South is very backwards. It's very backwards, and they do a lot of limiting when it comes to that. When it comes to voting, especially in the Black community and the minority community, they do a lot of limiting. This is the same, and this is one of the issues that is wrong with Texas and a few other southern states, is because they're still trying to hold on to these slavery mindsets by limiting people from making decisions and choices. This is another example of limiting people's choices and decisions. You're telling women that they can't have control over their body. They have no say-so. Regardless of what happened to them, whether they are raped, molested, or how the case is, they have no choice. And that is unfair. It shouldn't operate in that right. And the more that it keeps proceeding this way, the more they're going to pass certain laws that's going to not only discriminate, but it's going to limit other minorities, not only women, from having civil rights, from having choices, to be able to, oh, we lost you, to be able to make effective decisions for their life. And that's just unfair. It's almost close to a lot of these religious organizations. And I don't know if everybody knows it, but if you work for a certain or particular religious organization, they won't allow you to be on birth control. And that's an unfortunate, and that's, again, that right there again is a form of control. I want to work for your organization because it is my belief, but then I may be a pro-choice, but I can't be a pro-choice and work for this religious organization. That is control. That is restricting the choice and the rights of the person. I have the choice and the right to do whatever I want to do to my body. If I want to go get a lot of tattoos, I have that choice and right. If I want to go get piercings, I have that choice and right. If I want to go stretch my ears, I have that choice and right. But telling people what they can and they cannot do limits their choices and reason, their choices in life. Don't cut off paths. Don't cut off paths for a person's decision. If I got 3 paths in front of me and the government is cutting off one, that leaves me with only 2 paths. Do I break the law, or do I just go down the 2 paths because those are the ones that are being offered to me? It's just a very unfair assessment. And for the 6 states that are following behind with this ridiculous law and rule, there are companies and organizations that will probably and more than likely either going to pay the fine or they're going to leave your state. Do you want to risk losing that money? Because that will be the outcome. Texas right now is damn near either being banned or blackballed. Because nobody wants to go to Texas with these rules. They're going to have to do something, put in an exception or something. They're going to have to do something. But what they're doing is not working, period. That's my final word. Just to skip the formalities. talk about these controversial issues, stating what our opinion is, and sometimes we state the facts, but majority of the time it's goddamn opinion. I want to talk about the panel for a minute. We got Mr. Yor down here repping the Lions. We got Brittany, said she was at work, so we appreciate that she came. And then we got Brianna, she out there driving, so I hope she's safe. You know.
Yes. Hey, I gotta pick up my baby from work.
Eyes on the road.
I
am. I am your host, John Jay, and my nice little two-piece signing off. Until next week, remember, it's every Thursday at 6 p.m. If you got something to say, you got a topic you want to throw out there, just leave it in the comments.